This is our Geoanalytics tool, and this is what we use to decide where to open the new Lenskart stores. What you see on the screen right now are all Lenskart stores across India. These bigger dots are what we call our 50 clusters. These are essentially our hubs, centers for operational efficiency, all of them with airports, from where all the product packets are delivered to different connected cities. So now, how do we decide where to open a store? And that's where the science comes in. We track a lot of data from different sources to build our algorithm that helps us select these locations. What you're seeing on the screen right now is the trade area, which is built using mobile movement data. This mobile movement data helps us understand how people move within cities. Where do people come from? Where are they going? These red locations over here tell us where do the highest density of people coming to this location come from.
This chart shows us the footfall density across every street. So you can actually compare which parts of the street get high footfall versus which ones get lower footfall. The street on the right, for example, is a very, very high density footfall.
If you look at this chart on the right over here, it shows us the mobility patterns around this location on LBS Marg near BKC in Mumbai. So you can literally see how the population flows into this particular micro market. In addition to this movement data, we track a lot of other parameters from demographic and commercial and infrastructural standpoint and other standpoints. And we also track every major retailer in India. We understand their footfall, we understand all our competitor brands, all our complementary brands, and all of this data feeds into our model. We've also mapped out the location of every retailer's every location across India down to the micro market level, clustered them into markets, and then defined its catchment area. So for each of these markets, we understand what is its trade area. We study our penetration within these markets and then decide whether to go into that particular market or not. Now, all of these variables together help us predict the revenue potential of every possible store location. Just giving you an example of northeastmost hub, Dimapur. Within Dimapur, we already have 3 stores. However, if I look at this city, Kohima, towards the east, we have 1 store already and we see potential for a few more. So for example, this particular location has a revenue potential of 13.5 lakhs. If I go a little bit north, I see this particular town, which is a completely new town for us with no presence right now. And over here, we see a revenue potential of about 14 lakhs in this town called Golaghat. And that's the power of our system. Machine learning algorithms that continuously train on store level performance data, optimizing weights across thousands of location, demographic, and mobility variables to forecast revenue with high accuracy. Just to give you a view, some of these features like rent, competition, intensity, affluence, meal prices help us predict this revenue. The combination is quite unique, and it's how we've been able to identify 2,000 new towns across India where Lenskart can expand. Of those, 600 are our immediate priority. Now, coming back to a larger city like Mumbai, where we already have 130 stores. So the question, we look at it in 2 ways. Existing catchments, where we can densify, and then emerging catchments, which are high growth zones. For instance, here is this area called as Kolshet. If I look at the growth map within the city, this area of Kolshet has a very high growth index identified by this dark green color. As I zoom in, you'll see a lot of high rises being built, new plots being cut out, and the land getting developed. In short, a neighborhood on the rise. As I go and study the development even further over here, you'll see a pharmacy that's come up, maybe a salon that has already come up in this location. As I move beyond here, as I move to Lower Parel, where you are seated right now, you can see our existing stores here. But we see potential for new locations as well. And our model projects revenues for these new locations as well. And this is how we are continuously expanding within existing cities based on data-backed catchments. Now, once we've identified a location, the next step is property discovery. And for that, we have a tech platform where brokers are onboarded. All of these markets that we've identified are available for the brokers to go and search for properties and submit properties in. For instance, this particular market in Bangalore, where 3 properties have been submitted, our AI automatically validates the data and checking for things like rental benchmarks using market data. It also generates a score in terms of how relevant the property is for us. For instance, this property has a very high relevance score of 86 versus this one, which has a low relevance score for us. When a property looks promising, the agent can use the same mobile app to submit more data, so they can use mobile app to upload directly from the site. This makes the entire process from site identification to store launch incredibly fast, and that's how we've been able to open 350 to 400 stores every year consistently. And now this same technology and methodology is being used to scale globally as we expand outside of India. So that's a quick demo of how data and technology drive every Lenskart store you see around you.